actor working in the TV and film industry here in Los Angeles. And this is my sister.
I'm Liz McDade, a huge Columbo fan and a small business owner living in Santa Cruz, California. And this is Trenchcoat Cigar Peugeot Wandering with Columbo. In each episode, we'll bring you a little Hollywood history, glamour, and behind the scenes as we walk you through Columbo, one of America's greatest TV detective series. Woohoo!
Yeah.
And today we are talking about Season 3, Episode 2, Any Old Port in a Storm. This episode aired October 7th, 1973, and it is a classic episode.
Did you see how I held the wine glass?
No. Oh, Paul is holding his wine glass.
Copying Donald Pleasence.
Just like Adrian Carcini. So, as you know, dear listener, probably, for every episode, we have a snack and a drink that is inspired by the show. And today, it is a cheese platter. Our snack is a cheese platter. And our drink is Cabernet Sauvignon, which comes up in the episode, as one could imagine. So, Paul, do you have a cheese platter? What's going on over there at your place?
I was going to get some fancy cheese, but I got it's like an Alpine Swiss cheese. It's probably not the best thing with the
Cabernet
cab, but it's probably okay. And then the cab was, I looked online, was trying to find some interesting place to go. There was a wine store, Good Luck Wine Shop, and the Good Luck Wine Shop is in Pasadena. It's all natural wine. There's no sulfites. If there is sulfites, it's very little. So there's no additives. It's organic farming, no synthetic pesticides, hand harvested grapes. Anyway, I just wanted to try something interesting, different, local. And there was this one, and it's from South Africa.
Kumusha, wow.
Yeah, and it's $18. It's good. And actually, the person who started the farm, Tanashi Nyamudoka, he and three other men were the first for Zimbabwe to go into the wine tasting world championship, which is
cool.
The Olympics. There's a movie, a documentary about them.
Oh, cool.
About these guys. So one of the guys worked at like the best restaurant in Africa, called the best restaurant in Africa, and it's labeled one of the top restaurants in the world for a long time. His story is very interesting. You can go online and read about it. So yeah, so it was really great. The lady was at the wine shop, Kate. It might have been Kate. I'm not 100% sure, but she went through all the stuff that they had. Like some of it very quickly, what they do there. So what about you? What do you have?
Cool. Okay, I have a proper platter of 4 different cheeses. I'm going to bring my. I'm going to bend my camera down so that you can see, Paul.
Well, that looks really good. Kind of put me to shame here with my gluten-free.
Starting from the softest cheese, I guess this is a soft cheese. It's actually a vegan feta by Violife, which is pretty tasty. And then I have a Asiago cheese, which is not vegan. It's real cheese. I forget the company. And then I have a 4-year-old sharp cheddar, which is probably my favorite. And then I have I think it's a Grano. Oh goodness.
Wow. Actually, this cheese goes good. It's like a Swiss Alpine or something. Not Swiss. It's, she had recommended like a sort of a non-liquidy, a harder cheese, So
my 4th cheese is a Grana Padano. It's a harder cheese. It's similar to Parmesan. So it's very tasty. I think my favorite, though, is a sharp cheddar. Oh, and then my wine is a California Cabernet Sauvignon. It's actually organic.
Ooh.
And it's called Rare Earth. It's actually only like a $9 bottle of wine. It's not a fancy wine. But I got to say, it's quite tasty.
Yeah, this one was $18.
That's nice. I don't drink many $18 bottles of wine.
Oh, you don't?
No, I usually buy like
You just
$10
$5,
bottles of
$8,
wine.
$10? Okay, well, $8 more. Come on.
That's twice as much, Paul.
There's, I know that's true.
You're fancy pants over there.
Adrian Cassini's fancy pants.
I know, you're right. You are right. If I had been really sticking with the theme, I would have gotten a really fancy cab.
Nah. No, I was looking for something that wasn't expensive. I'll buy one that's like 13 easily at the store.
It's still more than I spend, Paul.
Okay, how much is that cheese, Liz?
I know, right? I was at the cash register the other day, and I was getting this store had like a block of vegan cheese. It looked fun. I was like, oh, I'll grab that for the kids. And then she rang it up. It was like a $16 like tiny piece, like a half.
See.
I did, but I took it. I told her like, never mind. I do not want that cheese. It wasn't even. It wasn't even like a. It wasn't even a half a pound.
You don't know the price, Liz. Then can't. I think it was J.P. Morgan.
Yes, J.P. Morgan was right. I could not afford that cheese. That vegan cheese was way too expensive. I was like, I am not spending $16 on a quarter pound of cheese. I'm sorry.
So how did they make the one you're eating now?
The vegan cheese?
The feta one, yeah.
I don't know. Lots of random ingredients. It's good though.
Well,
I gotta say, they made some good progress in the vegan cheese department. All right, well, it's enough chatting about our drinks and our snacks. We're going to move on to our smoke signals. This is where we read letters from listeners. And Paul, you have a letter to share with us this week.
Yeah. I mean, I think when we talked about smoke signals before, the people did communicate lots of information with the using the smoke signal, which I think is really interesting, really cool. So our smoke signal is from David, and David wrote a really cool email. Liz reminded me about this one. I had forgotten about this one, but I do remember it. And part of it, he says, what I find is that half the episodes end with Columbo somehow prompting the murderer to perform an overtly incriminating act. Death lends a hand is an example of that. And that's where he, thinks the contact is there, the contact lens. And so they kind of trick him into that. And the other half end with Columbo simply explaining the evidence to the murder. David mentioned Etude in Black, and that was, Cassavetes needed to have the film with the flower and all that shown to him, like, we got you. And then David says, yet there are roughly as many strong endings of the second type as there are of the first. There are a couple of outliers that don't fit neatly into either of these categories. I love that he shared that with us and put those in that category. And I don't think that it's not fun or tired observation as he typed to us. I think it's really fascinating and cool to put that in there, because certainly with Jackson Gillis and Stanley Ralph Ross, and I do apologize for mispronouncing names as I have in the past and getting some things not correct.
We know you do it on purpose, Paul. So.
Yeah, but no, thanks, David. Yeah, I gonna have to put that in one of our Google Docs or something. But yeah, what are your thoughts on David's?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. A great observation. I feel a little bad that I've watched Columbo so many times and I've never made this observation. So, Paul, when we get to the end of our conversation, we should talk about which ending did we see in this episode. Was it the getting the murderer to perform an incriminating act, or was it Columbo explaining the evidence? We'll return to that.
Well, I'm going to put this on a card because I don't think we're going to.
No, I'm going to write a note. I'm making a note right now.
Okay.
And we'll see if we can figure it out.
Yeah.
He said there are some outliers.
That's right.
So I don't know. Well, thank you, David, for writing. And thank you, everyone who's written us. We are often slow to reply, but we read all your emails and we love them so much. And we try to write back to everybody as promptly as we can. You can email us at trenchcoatcigar@gmail.com. That's all one word. And share your reflections on Columbo or your memories of watching this show, or whatever you want to say. We love hearing from you. So please feel free to drop us a note, and know that even if we don't write back right away, we read all of our emails. I have another short announcement. We have set up a Patreon page. So if you want to help support our show, there is a link in the show notes, and you can support us with just a few dollars to help cover our costs. We do spend a little bit of money on our hosting and editing, and anything that you want to contribute is great. We will be putting up some video recordings of our podcast recordings. They're going to be raw and unedited. So if you want to watch me and Paul in the flesh, head over to our Patreon page. We really appreciate your support. But also, we are happy to do this if you can't support us. We like doing what we're doing. So
Yeah, totally.
no
Absolutely.
pressure, but feel free if you have the means. All right, I have a little summary of this episode. So let's go. In this episode, Adrian Carcini, a winemaker, murders his brother, Rick, after hearing that Rick plans to sell their winery to the Marino brothers. Adrian tries to make Rick's death look like a scuba diving accident, but Columbo is suspicious of Adrian's response to his brother's death, and Columbo uses his newfound knowledge of wine to split the crime wide open. All right, Paul, let's get into the thick of it here.
Okay.
This is a super classic episode. It is a favorite of many folks, and we'll talk about that. And it has a sparkly beginning. The opening scene is opening shot is 4 red wine glasses being held up in a toast, and they're reflecting these sparkly stars of light off of them. And we meet Adrian Carcini. He has presented a limited edition, not for sale batch of his wine to 3 of his colleagues. And he has a quote. I had to look this up. The very first line is something like, Titian himself would have struggled to mix so wonderful a red. Something like that. Do you know anything about Titian, Paul? Have you heard of Titian?
I was going to look that up. I didn't. I looked up any port in the storm, and a couple other things, but like he gives a French. Well, the closed caption. No, I didn't. So what did you come up with? Would you?
Well, I didn't do a deep dive on Titian, but I was like, I should probably look up who Titian is. So a Titian
How
was,
do you spell that?
it's Titian, and he was an Italian painter of the Renaissance, very well known. It sounds like he was successful during his lifetime.
Titen.
A-N.
Titan.
Yeah.
Titan.
Yeah, but he pronounces it Titian.
Oh, Ian. I see. Okay, Italian painter. Okay.
Yeah. So he was active from 1506 to 1576 or somewhere in there. And I was like, oh, was he famous for red paint? I think he was just famous in general for his work, but not necessarily for like a red paint. But you know what, dear listener, if I'm wrong, you can let us know, because I did not do a deep dive on Titian. If I'm wrong, you can let me know. I didn't do a deep dive. So I think Adrian Carcini is just saying, in general, this wonderful painter would have struggled to create this beautiful shade of red that we're about to drink here.
Yeah, for sure.
So after everyone takes a sip, he slips away to get another bottle of wine. He leaves the room to get another bottle of wine, and he's eavesdropping from his, phone system in the other room. And he hears that he's about to get named Man of the Year. And right off the bat, you get a very snobby vibe from Adrian, very snobby, and a little bit of a bad guy, kind of spying on his guests in a sense. So he's heading to his office to get this other bottle of wine, and then we meet Rick, his brother, who surprises Adrian. He's sitting at Adrian's office chair, and he swivels the chair around and surprises him. He needs money because he's getting married again. And he doesn't have the money to go fly to, I think it's Mexico, and meet his bride. So Adrian gives him a bunch of money. And then Rick drops a bombshell on Adrian and says, hey, I'm selling the winery to the Marino brothers. So apparently these brothers, Rick owns the land and Adrian owns the business. When Adrian hears this, he loses it. So the Marino brothers, I guess, make very inferior wines and kind of like giant gallon bottles of wine.
Ernest and Julio Gallo type.
Exactly. Yeah, like Gallo type wines. So Adrian loses it, and he, in a fit of rage, he smashes his brother on the head with a big golden, I think it's like a bust or something that's like a decoration on his desk. And Rick rather, doesn't die in that moment, but he's clearly unconscious and laying on the floor and kind of immobile. And so Adrian leaves to rejoin his guests. He brings the new bottle, and he's almost busted by his secretary, Karen, who's there to get ready for a trip they have. And this is a funny moment. He uses a line that Rick used on him. Rick says, "Oh, I knew I'd find you in your office because only a fanatic works on a Sunday."
Oh, yeah.
And then when Adrian sees Karen trying to work, he says, you should go home, Karen. Only a fanatic works on a Sunday. So he sends her home. He says, also, we're going to stay in New York even longer. So get more dresses.
Nightgowns. I think he says nightgowns, doesn't he?
Or evening gowns?
Evening gowns. That's me. My brain.
Your brain goes to nightgowns.
Julie Harris.
My brain goes to evening gowns.
I think the gown threw me off.
You're like, what? A gown? You mean like a nightgown?
Yeah.
So she leaves and she doesn't find Rick in his office. So that's a relief for Adrian. And then he goes back to his guests. But his hands are shaky, so he cannot decant his own wine. And I have a little short deep dive on decanting, Paul, but I'll save that. Because in this moment, he asks one of his colleagues to decant the wine for him. And they tell him that he is going to be the man of the year for wine. And he's very excited. They enjoy this other wine. And he says he's going to tell his brother the good news. And then he says goodbye to the men in the parking lot.
It's like, really? You're going to say that?
Yeah. This is like a classic murderer move, right? You're like, oh, I can't wait to get home and tell that person
that was just here.
Definitely still alive. Can't wait to tell them. But I had to Google, is there actually a wine man or person of the year? And there's actually quite a few, Paul. There's like Food and Wine magazine picks a wine. It's actually, I think it's like a beverage person of the year. So it's like wine and spirits.
Sure.
Wine Enthusiast magazine has a person of the year. Decanter magazine has a person of the year. I just want to say, I just was like looking at some of these award ceremonies. And there are photos from, I think it's the Decanter magazine person of the year. There's a luncheon award ceremony, and Paul, you have got to see how many wine glasses are sitting in front of each person at the table.
Well, don't they spit them out though, right?
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, we should have gotten our sister-in-law to
give
us the lowdown on all this, because she's written about wine. And next time.
So we will put the photo of how many wine glasses are at the table on our Instagram. And Paul, if you open up our shared drive, you'll be able to see a shot. It's these guys, these men in suit and ties sitting around a table. I swear there's like 10 wine glasses in front of each person. It's bananas.
Probably.
Anyhow, so This is a very realistic scenario that somebody would actually receive an award like this and be very excited, on behalf of some organizations. And so he's very excited and he sends the colleagues off. And Paul, I think we better take care of Rick.
Okay, I see the glasses. Yeah, that's a lot.
You found the photo?
I thought that was some kind of a weird. I didn't know why you had that in there. Now I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that doesn't. I mean, surprise me. It just wine is such big business, and there've been. It's like food. Like I was just saying about the guy who from Zimbabwe with those three other men competing, and there's a documentary about him. I meant to watch a movie about this guy named Andre. Andre, I'm not going to try and butcher his name, but he's known as the Dean of American Wine. Really good editor that I love his work. Michael Chandler. He's been a consulting editor on a lot of documentaries. He was one of the editors of Amadeus. He was one of the consulting editors on this documentary. But this guy changed wine, I think, in California.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, once you start going there, just like if we talk to our sister-in-law Stephanie, there's just so much, it is such like it's like art,
Right.
Donald or Carcini says. And I don't know if you saw the interview with Peter Falk on Johnny Carson, like on a Friday before the Sunday that this aired, and he talked about how much he loved working with Donald Pleasence and the character that he sort of represents in his love of a pure, work of art of wine, being so unique and special, and it's just like good food.
Where did you find that interview, Paul? Was it on YouTube?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you just go on YouTube and then Johnny Carson, Peter Falk, any old Port in the Storm,
okay,
it'll come up.
Yeah, I saw that Peter Falk was interviewed about this, but I did not watch the interview. So that's really cool. That'd be cool to see.
Yeah, they show clip. I think they cut the clip because you can't, show too much on YouTube of stuff. But yeah, no, it makes sense, of that. I mean, even, if you think about music, you go on Bandcamp and they have like the best of for the year, or someone talks about it's so wonderful. It's just it's endless, with everything.
Yeah. No, I think it's good for sure. Yeah.
So did you want to be one of those guys sitting at the table?
No, not really.
Don't they have that in Santa Cruz?
Not really.
I'm sure they do.
Well, we do have a fair number of wineries around us, but I've never seen that many wine glasses on a single table before. Yeah, I don't know why I was surprised that this is a real thing, but I guess I just had to like verify for myself that there is a wine person of the year. In fact, there's probably 4 who are picked every year.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm sure it goes. And then for countries probably, and for the type of wine, it's
totally.
like it's so interesting.
Okay, well, Paul, we need to take care of Rick. Okay.
No, what happened to Rick?
Rick, so the colleagues have left. Rick is still unconscious in Adrian's office. So Adrian has to drag him across the office. He has to open some secret doors in his wall and drag him down to his wine cellar. He ties his hands and feet with rope. He turns off the ventilation system for his cellar. And then he hides Rick's car in the garage. It's a pretty grim moment, like oftentimes the murder is kind of fast. Sometimes it's not even, we talk about like lovely but lethal, like that was really fast. And she didn't even totally mean to kill. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on the victim's name, but she didn't even totally mean, Carl Lessing, right? But in this case, I mean, Adrian takes so many steps to make sure that Rick will die in his wine cellar. It's a little bit dark. And then I just wanted to comment on Rick's car. It's a 1966 Ferrari. I think it's a 330 GTS.
It's like the
That's
one in
best guess.
Ferris Bueller's, right? A little bit.
Yeah, totally. Like Ferris Bueller's. Guess how much this vintage of car sells for today, Paul, on average?
20,000. Yeah,
Paul,
sorry.
be
the
real.
Kamusha
It's a
has kamushed my
Ferrari.
head. No, that's, I don't know, like 800,000.
2 million.
Oof.
2 million. I walked the dogs today.
Mm-hmm.
No joke. There was like a pristine, brand new orange Ferrari on my
A new
street.
one? Like a,
Yeah.
oh, wow.
And I was like, what is this car doing on the street? A Ferrari should only ever be in a garage.
Oh.
It should either be driving or like in a garage. I was shocked to see it just sitting there.
Was it your neighbor?
Yeah, it was a neighbor.
Okay.
I've never seen it before. It was beautiful. I honestly wanted to like knock on their door. I'm not a huge car person, like, and I'm definitely not into gas guzzlers.
Yeah.
But I wanted to knock on their door and be like, you should put that in your garage. Why are you leaving this car on the street? I've never seen it
Did it have the
before.
top like you could pull down kind of?
No, it didn't have it wasn't convertible.
Okay.
It was the hard top. I would have gotten a photo, but I didn't have my phone on me. Okay, anyways, Rick's Ferrari in the garage. Paul, I want to chat about the winery for a minute because
please.
I did do a little deep dive on the filming location of the winery. We get to see a little bit of the exterior in these scenes. So IMDb actually has it falsely listed as a winery in San Jose. But if you go to Columbo File, the website, which I love and we reference often, they have a map of Columbo filming locations, and they have the correct filming location. It's actually Guasti's Winery in Ontario. Guasti's is spelled Guasti. And it's referred to as Guasti's, but it was actually owned by Brookfield Winery at the time this was filmed. So Guasti's started in the early 1900s. A man named Secondo Guasti immigrated from Italy, and he purchased land in Ontario. He got some investors and ended up with over 20,000 acres of land to grow grapes. And Guasti built a small village, like a company town. So there were a bunch of bungalows, and there was a grocery store, and there was a train stop in the town. And he brought over his family members and other families from Italy to live and work at Guasti's. And I found this cool a couple of YouTube videos about Guasti's. There is a man who is interested in the history of Ontario, and he has a few videos if you want to see some more photos of what this winery looked like at its height.
You're talking about California, Ontario?
Yeah,
Okay.
Ontario, California. Yeah, right by LA.
Yeah.
And the original buildings were there for a while. So I'll talk a little bit more about it. But that's where they filmed the exterior shots, not in San Jose. I mean, there's no reason for the whole Columbo production to drive to San Jose just for a few exterior shots. So those were filmed.
Well, what about the interior shots?
So when we get to those scenes, I will chat.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure those were also filmed at Guasti's, other than the studio. Clearly, like the office building, that was just on a studio. Yeah. All right, Paul, are you ready for a trip?
Depends.
To New York?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Go see Sean, Stephanie.
Let's go see our brother and sister-in-law and our niece and nephew. This is an excellent vintage airplane scene. And one of the flight attendants has this orange dress with a big white stripe on each side of it. So it's very like the mod style of the time. And the three wine dudes are gathered around a keyboard player. They're sipping wine and cocktails. Scene. I know, it's classic. It's so good. They're listening to some mellow, jazzy keyboard.
And one of the guys is like sitting music on the stairs.
It's so good. We're going to have to get a photo of that for our Instagram. And then Carcini and Karen are in their big, cushy first-class seats. And Carcini wants to send a letter to his brother and give his brother a check for $5,000. And Karen is a bit surprised by that. And there's a little bit of comedy when Carcini takes a sip of the airplane wine.
Well, it seems like he's already been drinking wine, but I guess not. But I thought he was so good in this moment, being so like just I'm free for the moment, like away from that having just committed murder,
Yeah.
and just like everything he's saying, it's like he's so imbued with this new plateau that he's on, this crazy thing he's on. So yeah, this is a great moment.
Absolutely. Oh, and I kind of skipped over the fact. I don't know if Paul, if you wanted to talk at all about the actor who played Rick, or I didn't look him up. I mean, his part was so small, but we have seen the end of him. So I don't know if there was anything that you wanted to say about him, or we don't have to talk about him.
Okay, yeah, no, he was good. I thought he was great. He actually, I did look up a little bit on him just on IMDb, but Gene Barry from Prescription Murder was his mentor
Oh,
for
cool.
acting, and they obviously really connected, and he really looked up to Gene, and he considers him, his true acting mentor. When I read that, I love that because
Yeah.
Gene, I'm sure was very interesting. I like Gene Barry. I have someone just gave me a movie of his that he did that sounded really interesting, and I wanted to see the Istanbul Express, the one William Lincoln Richard Levinson did. It was another TV movie of the week, but so it's kind of cool to think of that relationship that they must have had. You know,
Definitely. Is he still alive? The man who.
yeah, I think Gary is still alive. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
Did he keep acting after? Did he do a lot of things?
He worked for. Oh, you know what? He actually has his own vineyard,
Oh,
and
right.
his daughter runs it,
I did see
or helps
that
him run it.
trivia.
Yeah, yeah, and I actually wanted to get their wine, and I was looking them up, trying to figure out how, because it sounds like it used to be Volcano there. It's in Los Robles
Mm-hmm.
or Paso
Paso
Robles
Robles.
in
Mm-hmm.
yeah, more in the coast, not the coast, but more inland.
Mm-hmm.
I guess volcanoes were there at one time.
Mm-hmm.
But just reading the different sections of their website, it sounds like they were very interested in making wine like Carcini, like not
Like rare specialty.
organic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the soil. If you go to their website, you can see it. And I don't know if they survive on just doing their wine tasting tours. But because I only looked at it today, but I was like so wanted to get that wine because it would have been so
Yeah, that'd be
perfect.
cool.
But I think it's one of those places where you have to go there to taste the wine. I could be completely wrong. I was not coming up with anything in
Yeah.
Pasadena at any of the wine shops. And there's a lot of wine shops here,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of wine tasting at these wine shops. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, and he's an artist. He paints, and
Oh, cool.
some helicopter crashed on their land at some point, and
Whoa.
he talks about that. And I think he wrote a book about. It's like a book with his paintings or something like that. But I thought he was excellent. I thought it's so easy to watch something and not think about all the energy and the personalities that go into making something. Like anything, clothing that you buy, who are the people that made it, how are they paid? But in seeing him, I really started rethinking him as a performer, and then hearing the thing with Gene Barry, I just love that.
Yeah.
Just made me think of when I've done acting. If I meet someone who there was an actor from the Volksbühne and from Berlin, two different actors that I performed with. I did a couple of films with them, and the man that I had worked with, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but he was a really good actor, and it was just really cool to hear some of his thoughts on some stuff when it came to art in general. He at one point he had he had like a producer who did like theater musical type stuff. There's just one band, Sugaros. He did something with one of their performers. And anyway, it's just like whenever I've met someone who's been doing something for a long time, whether it's editing or acting, and they invite me into what they know as a confident or sharing with me, like an actor Shelley Desai, I'll mention Shelley later when we talk about Larry Cohen. It's always very meaningful, and just fills my heart and fills my soul. And so Gary Conway talking about Gene Barry, just in the little that I read there, I just thought it was so cool. They're both these big, white, Caucasian, handsome guys, but they took it seriously, and they obviously enjoyed what they did. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that there was that connection. I thought he did really well too. I thought he was a perfect, counterpoint to Adrian. That conversation between the two of them just was very believable. That you could kind of see. I could appreciate both of their sides. And I don't know. I thought he did a good job too.
Yeah, it's always that. There's always that situation where you're confronted with should I hit my brother over that? No, no, but there are those situations where you're, in conflict with someone close to you, and you're like, this is so cliche, but why is this happening? And it's so believable. I did think when I first saw this that I didn't know if it was the editing, but I felt like Donald Pleasence went from 1 to 10 too quickly. And when I watched it again, it was still truthful. I still felt like, he's almost drooling, or, at one point he's so infuriated with his brother.
Yeah.
On the second time again, I thought it was still good. I thought it was. I was a little disappointed the first time, but the second time today, I was like, no, that it feels good. It feels truthful. Reacting again, that can be in the editing, cutting too soon, or cutting a take that doesn't match the other take, or like a different takes, I should say.
Right.
So there's a break in the energy coming from the person is from a different take.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Adrian definitely freaks out in that scene. But for me, I thought, well, this guy's kind of a jerk. We've established that. The way he's eavesdropping on his colleagues. And now his brother is taking away his whole life, the winery is his life. So
yeah,
in those contexts, I was like, yeah, okay, his reaction makes sense, I guess.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. No, that all makes sense. I just felt like his performance,
Yeah,
in terms of the rage, but it's still, and I think hearing him, the accent, throughout, I think he does these funny. It's like he has all these ideas of how someone speaks, but I heard Southern dialogue, and then I heard just trying to stay away from a British accent. So, because I watched a lot of Donald Pleasence stuff recently, and I really love so much of his work, and I love him in this, but I've become acquainted with,
yeah.
how he is when he speaks British and whatnot. So,
Right. Okay, well, let's keep moving along. I did want to point out one more thing from the airplane scene. I don't know if you recognize Karen's outfit, Paul, but
oh, someone else had that?
yeah. So Karen, the secretary, is wearing the same like wool suit that Blythe Danner wears in Etude in Black.
Oh, it must have been Grady Hunt.
Yep, I guess. Yeah, I didn't even look at the costumes this time. It must be Grady Hunt.
Grady Hunt's on this one.
Okay, yeah.
And it's Universal.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Yeah.
What's our budget this week?
Or
this
right?
episode?
We're
Okay,
like, well,
we've reached it already.
We got to cut things somewhere.
There is no budget. You know where the wardroom location is.
That's right.
The cages.
All right, Paul, let's taste some wine. It's time.
Okay.
So this crew of wine connoisseurs has landed in New York. They're at a glamorous wine tasting event, black tie event. I just want to point out that Adrian has some pretty cool ruffly cuffs.
Oh yeah.
Poking out of his coat.
I love it.
It's cool. Hard to find the shirts like that these days. I Googled for just a moment. And I did a tiny deep dive on wine auctions. So I forget what website. This might be Wikipedia. Who knows? Some other site. There are generally 3 kinds of wine auctions today. The first, it's called first hand. Number one, it's
Mm-hmm.
called Firsthand. These are like promotional or charity events. They're often hosted by wineries, and they're often raising money for something, or sometimes they're trying to figure out what the market interest is in a wine. The second kind is called secondhand, and that's what we see in this episode. So this is an auction that happens in an auction house like Sotheby's, and Sotheby's would be auctioning a really rare and collectible wine. And then the third kind is an online wine auction where you can bid on fine, rare, and collectible wines as well. So wine auctions still happen, and I did Google the most expensive bottle of wine ever sold.
Mm.
Do you have any guess how much the most expensive bottle of wine?
I was going to say 22 million, but that seems too much.
That's too much.
5 million?
No, not even. $500,000.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a bottle of wine sold for $558,000 in 2018. It was a Burgundy, and it's a 1945 bottle of Burgundy from Domaine de la Romanie Conti. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying that right. There were only 600 bottles made of that vintage, and that's why it was so expensive. In this auction, we see Adrian purchase a bottle of wine, and I had to write down his line here. His secretary Karen is saying, "Do we really need this bottle? Because it's becoming very expensive." And Adrian says, "Nobody really needs a $5,000 bottle of wine. I just don't want anyone else to have it." And that's about $33,000 in today's money, Paul.
Whoa. Yeah, and it's a
It's a
lot
lot.
then. I mean, like
Mhm.
for it, 5,000 is a lot now.
For sure. Okay, well, Paul, are you ready to have a sneak peek at Columbo's office?
I know. I know. I couldn't believe it. So cool.
I know, right? I mean, I feel like we should have spent more time in there.
That was making this such an interesting episode. There's so many different things.
Yeah, the next scene, they're in Columbo's own office, which is bananas. I feel like this is the only time I've seen him in an office. So Columbo's at his desk, and Rick's fiance shows up to file a missing persons report. She has on this really cool gold necklace, like a big statement piece, almost like a really big bird or something. And Columbo's is like, "I'm not missing persons." He tries to direct her to the right person, and she says, "Yeah, but that person's not in." And Columbo says, "Okay, I'll look into it." So that's our first peek at Columbo.
I think it was Art Wolf was the camera operator. Did a lot of these. He's got a little. It's not quite film noir, but I guess some people could say it is. The lighting in the hallway from his office has this cuts in half. So this is dark on top, and there's like this bright light underneath, and it's not like we're watching some old Chinatown or something, but still has that little bit of element to it. So I thought that was cool. Yeah.
I didn't notice that. I'll have to look at that again. I feel like this might be one of the few episodes where we see Columbo in this way. Like he hasn't been called to a body.
Hmm.
Someone's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
kind of unique. All right, Paul, we better bring this $5,000 bottle of wine home safely. So Carcini is holding it like a baby in his arms on the plane. It's bubble wrapped and everything. He does not offer Karen a ride home,
Yeah.
even though she clearly doesn't have a car. And part of that, I think, is his personality. And then part of it is he knows there's a dead body that he needs to take care of.
Hmm.
So he drives himself home from the airport. I think he is driving a Rolls Royce, but I am no expert on this. But we have seen a Rolls Royce in at least two other Columbos, Greenhouse Jungle and Etude in Black. So Adrian comes back to his cellar. He finds Rick dead in there, and he changes Rick, puts him in scuba gear, puts his body in his Ferrari, covers it with a blanket, and then drives Rick and the Ferrari to a cliff, toss him in.
How did he die? Because he was still alive when he put him in there, right?
He must have run out of air, right?
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Suffocation.
Suffocating? Yeah. Yeah, because they do say that later on. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. But you have to feel like there must have been some airflow in that cellar.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes with Columbo, like, I don't want to push too hard on some of the plot lines, Like,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily all about the logic of it. Anyhow, so he drives him to a cliff, tosses his body into the water. There's no information about where this beach scene was filmed, but it's probably somewhere north of Malibu. And there are two beaches that seem like good candidates, Point Dume or Leo Carrillo. Both of these beaches have tall cliffs and large black rocks that come out of the water, and a little bit of cliff area for cars. Of course, all of that landscape will change, right? Over the course of like 50 years, you're going to lose rocks and cliffs. But my guess is it was Point Dume or Leo Carrillo where they filmed that. And this is where we finally meet Columbo at work. I'm guessing it's the next day. He shows up at the beach and he is there because they found a body. The Ferrari is parked on the cliff, and there's a local fisherman, who tells Columbo that is Enrique Carcini.
I like that guy, that actor.
Yeah.
He's really unique looking too.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he was unique looking, and he also did a really good job. I didn't look him up at all. I don't know if you did.
No. I just remember liking watching him again.
Well, before we go meet and tell the fiance, is there anything that you wanted to reflect on, Paul, before I move us along?
No. Yeah, no.
From these last scenes? Okay, cool. Columbo realizes that, this is the person that Joan was looking for. So he finds her to tell her. And she is at a lakefront restaurant where there are lots of people dancing in bikinis.
With the record player, right? Isn't there a
Yeah.
record player or something?
It's such a fun scene. It's such a funny, like, contrast, right? Because it's like a fun party scene, and then you have Columbo arriving to tell Joan that Rick is dead. So this was filmed on the rear deck or the patio of Boccaccio's restaurant in Westlake, which is right near Thousand Oaks. You can still go to this restaurant today and hang out. I don't think many people are dancing in bikinis on the patio anymore. But you can I looked at their menu, you can order a vegan spinach and mushroom ravioli for $22. It comes with arugula, garlic, and tomato sauce. And you have a nice lakefront view. So I feel like, Paul, the next time we come visit you guys, we might have to stop at Boccaccio's on our way.
Will we see Billy Fine, played by Robert Walden, with a no shirt and a sweater tied around and shades? I recognize that guy immediately. I was like, oh, I know that guy. Yeah, let's do it. I'll go.
I loved all the actors, all the costumes in this scene, and the actors. So Joan is there. She's wearing a white bathing suit, but she's paired it with pantyhose and high heels. So she's not actually going to go for a swim. This is kind of an interesting moment. He delivers the news to her, but we don't actually hear any of it. Like, the music is still playing. So we just kind of see what's happening, and then she kind of, she reacts. He tries to comfort her, and he learns a little bit more about Rick and Adrian in this moment, about their relationship.
Yeah, and he's like checking out all the reactions of the people there to see it's like he would do this with the suspect, like the killer or whatever from the episode. His behavior, I felt, was very similar. He's just kind of like reading everybody and trying to get information.
Definitely. He's got his detective hat on for sure. All right. Well, Paul, are you ready for a drink?
I just had one. I don't know if I could handle another one. I mean, I can, but I wouldn't be able to communicate very well.
Well, Columbo's ready for a drink, and he heads to a bar and he's having a beer and he's watching the news. I love this scene.
Oh yeah.
Columbo's sitting at a bar. The news comes on. It's chatting about the and Rick's body being found, and there's a guy next to him at the bar who's clearly drunk and keeps trying to chat with Columbo.
Such a good touch. I don't know if that's in Stanley Ralph Ross's script, or it's just a combination of everything. It was so good.
It was so good. Columbo keeps shushing him so he can hear the news.
We've experienced that. We've seen that. And you know who's on the... So, a couple things. Of course, Mike Lally appears here.
Yes.
So take a drink.
Classic.
But also on
Mike
the
Lally.
TV. Yeah, on the TV, it's Mom's favorite actor.
Who?
One of her favorite actors. Victor Milan.
Oh.
It's not one of her. I thought it was. Remember? It was one of my questions for you.
That was one of your trivia questions. Yeah. So Victor Milan was in another Columbo.
He was in the Stitch in Time. Stitch in Crime.
And he played the one of the detectives.
Yeah, he might have been Martinez. What says Dr. William Martinez? It says he's a doctor there.
No, I think he was chatting with Columbo in the parking lot.
Yeah, he was Detective Flores. This one, he was Dr. William Martinez.
Right. That's cool, Paul. I didn't pick that up. Good job.
Yeah, brought him back.
Good work.
Mom's favorite actor.
Well, at this moment, Columbo has some kind of memory. He's like, did it rain on Tuesday? He starts asking everyone in the bar if it rained.
Yeah, the random guy next to him.
Yeah.
And in this, if you look at everybody, when he goes to the payphone and calls, does he call the Weather Bureau? Is that what he does?
Yes, I think so. Or the newspaper, or both.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
But the couples and everybody, that's how extras don't normally look. Mm-hmm. Like middle-aged. Well, this is a different time and all that. Of course, they're going to look different. But to me, it felt a little more natural in some ways. If you watch TV now or a film, it looks the people look different. Like they'll be younger, prettier,
right?
And it's just different. But there's something about it that it seems like you would want to have more diversity, obviously, with everything. But there's something when you have people who look a little more authentic to a certain place that really can accelerate the story or the believability and whatnot. So I just made me think of that when I was watching the couple that he asks the question to, the guy who was at the bar there, both of the guys, the one guy who's drunk, he's been in a million things. Robert Donner, he was great.
He was so funny. That little exchange was so funny. I mean, I didn't articulate my feelings the way you just did, Paul, but when I saw this scene, I was like, oh, I really kind of want to spend a little more time in this bar. Like, I kind of want to absorb the sights and the sounds and the people a little bit more. There's just that really cool, the phone he uses is a really cool old rotary telephone. You put the coins in. But yeah, the whole vibe I thought was cool. It felt real, like you said, the extras helped make it feel more real.
Yeah. There's an old movie, I think Bowery is in the title. They recently re-released it like in the past, 10 years or something on Blu-ray. But I think they had a bunch of real local people. And I want to say it was filmed in before the 50s. But in John Cassavetes movies, some of them, I've noticed some people that look very real in the background, or even in the film. Like in Husbands, there's a scene where they go to a bar And I know they were filming all day or filming for a long period of time. Peter Falk and Cassavetes and Gazzara. But there's some of the actors in there. They're singing songs. Some of them are for sure actors. Well, they're all performing, but some of them look like, I don't know if they've ever done film before. Like it looks like they were in a bar. They do
Yeah.
look like barflies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's fun. It's fun. I mean, as a viewer, makes it more believable, like you said.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Columbo wants to find out if it rained on Tuesday. That's going to be an important plot point later, but he's not actually able to find out in this moment. So now it's time to visit the winery, and Columbo is taking a tour at Carcini Wineries, and it looks very much like he's in an actual winery building. So it's hard to know where this was filmed, but I have a couple of points to make. So, like I mentioned, Guasti Winery sold to a different winery called Brookside in 1945. And then Brookside was a functioning winery in this space until 1985. So when this was filmed in 72 or 73, probably in 73, they were still in operation. So it's very possible that they were able to tour and film. And let's see. So several of the winery buildings, like I said, were still there for a while, and then they actually a lot of them were recently demolished because they were going to do a redevelopment project on this land. But going back to Brookside Winery in 1973, they were actually making low-cost wines at the time that this was filmed. So I don't know if you noticed, but they're using like metal caps on the wines, which in the 70s, probably 70s, 80s, 90s, and the 2000s was not considered fine wine. Nowadays, I think the metal caps are used for really nice wines, but back then they were not. Anyhow,
You mean versus a cork?
versus a cork.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I always see like the one I have is just it's this is like a metal. This is what you're talking about,
Yeah.
yeah. I always see this as more like table wine, more. I mean, but that you have to drink it sooner. Like you can't, it won't hold. Maybe that's because it doesn't have sulfites. But I've noticed that like on a lot of less expensive wines, it's a screw top.
Well, I think that they use screw top on expensive wines too. I think it works as well as a cork these days, or it always has. But now wineries are finally open to it, right? But in the 70s, a screw top was definitely not considered fancy. But when you tour the Carcini winery, they're definitely using screw tops. So that makes me think it might have been filmed at the Brookside. It's either Brookside or Brookfield winery. So, anyhow, a little more information. I can't remember if it's called Brookside or Brookfield.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's just in my head because I know you can get table wine that has a cork in it. So blended wine that needs to be
Right.
used within a week. Or I don't know if I told you this, but our sister-in-law Stephanie, I think it was for my graduation from college, from the University of Alabama, she got me some Coppola wine, like a nice Coppola
Oh,
wine
nice.
with some
Yeah.
wine glasses. And I saved that for several years,
Oh, cool.
but I didn't know that I was supposed to drink it like within, a month or something like that, but not.
Oh.
So,
Uh-oh.
so I had it when we moved out. We were in Chicago, and then we came out here, and I had it in my garage in Highland Park. And we found out, our second child was coming, Felix, and I pulled it out in celebration, and St. John, my wife, was like, how long, she was like, we can't drink this. I was like, well,
Oh
let's just try it. And it
no.
was like vinegar is so bad.
Oh
But it was such a
no.
special gift from Stephanie that,
Yeah.
like we still had a little bit of it, and it was just, for Felix. But yeah, so it shows you what I know about
Well,
wine.
Paul, you probably should have decanted it.
And that would have preserved it?
Yes. So I actually did a little bit of a deep dive. No, it wouldn't have preserved it. But if you have an old wine, you should decant it. If it's more than 10 years old, you should decant it because that lets the flavors open and relax. If a wine ever tastes unbalanced or not good,
Mm-hmm.
put it in a decanter. If it tastes acidic or too tannic or too high in alcohol, a decanter will help. This is all from Bon Appetit magazine.
Oh.
Even if it smells like nail polish remover or balsamic vinegar,
Mm-hmm.
put it in a decanter and apparently that will help. It doesn't even have to be a red wine, any wine.
And it'll help it. What if you put balsamic vinegar in there? Will that change it to wine?
I don't know, maybe.
So,
Maybe, Paul, you should try that. Yeah, I asked our sister-in-law, I was like, do people really decant wines anymore? And she said, yeah, people still do. And she sent me a link to an article
wait, so you did talk to Stephanie?
just over text.
Oh, you're holding out on
Yeah.
me, Liz. Oh, you said you're holding out on me. I'm
No,
gonna have to call Columbo. Get to the bottom of this.
I just texted her. She's busy.
I
She's
know.
busy.
That's why I didn't want to reach out.
Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of cool. Like what I was reading online is that any wine that has a little bit of an off flavor, just decant it and that'll really help it. And sometimes it only takes 30 minutes, but sometimes you might want to leave it in there for a couple hours.
So you just get those at a wine shop, I guess.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. So why were they doing that in this episode? So it would be even better because
Yeah,
it's old. Because it's old.
because it was old wine.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
And Adrian described decanting like there was an exact formula. Maybe it was just based on his experience, but from what I was reading is there's not really an exact formula for how long you decant wine, but maybe he knows that exact vintage, how long it needs to be decanted for. Oh, there's a really sweet moment between Columbo and a winery worker.
Oh yeah, that was wonderful.
That was really cool. It's like an elderly gentleman who's cleaning the floors, and Columbo chats with him, and
And it
that guy did great. I was like, who is this actor?
yeah, and it kind of helps solidify his sort of gut feeling on this whole
Adrian.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you read about this guy?
No, I didn't. Did you?
Yeah. He was actually going to be in The Godfather.
Oh wow.
And in the opening scene, who tries to get help from Marlon Brando's character, but he had a previous engagement, or he became ill. I think he became ill. I do think this may have been his last. So his name is Frank Puglia, Puglia. He's from Sicily, Italy. He passed away in South Pasadena.
Oh, cool.
He was
Near
83.
you. Mm-hmm.
And actually, I wanted to see. He was with he was in dramatic school with Paulette Goddard in 1938. Yeah, so this was the second to last thing he did. Yeah, I wanted to see that. I wanted to see that movie, because it looks like he did a lot of wonderful stuff in the 40s and 30s. And yeah, if you look at his IMDb, he was he played Alphonse in that in that one. I think it's called Dramatic
Yeah, he
School.
was really great.
Yeah,
That little moment was awesome.
yeah.
Little comedy there. Columbo finds out that it did rain on Tuesday, which is one of the days that Rick's car would have been sitting out on the cliff. So that's another piece of information for him that doesn't really add up to this accident story.
Mm-hmm.
So he tracks down Adrian. He has a little bit of a rough encounter with Karen.
Mm-hmm.
He really wants, she's like, I need your name.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't want to give it to her. You know, I found him slightly annoying, I gotta say, in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to know his name, and he's like, why would I tell you my name when you have such a pretty name?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
what? I don't know. It just felt a little bit like a little slightly chauvinistic there. And, you know, Columbo has his moments, right? This is filmed in the early 70s. He's not like a super modern man, but I kind of, there's not too many moments where he crosses the line, but this maybe was one of them. Anyhow, Karen finally reveals that Adrian is in the lab, so Columbo tracks him down. Adrian has a really cool tie. It's bright red
I
with
love that
these
tie.
cool dark blue, like wavy lines and shapes across it. There's not a ton of awesome costumes in here, so the little things stand out.
Yeah, that looked modern to me. Like until you see the rest of it, the bottom not as much, but I was like, man, that's cool.
Yeah, super cool. So Columbo wants to chat about Rick's death. Adrian tries to play the role of, you know, a mourning sibling, but
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't pull it off at all. And Columbo can, you know, see through him, no problem. But this is where we get our wine of the night, because this is the first wine he gives Columbo, which is a cabernet sauvignon. I forgot to mention our cheese platter, which is in the very first scene where he tells his wine colleagues to enjoy some cheese.
Yeah, did they show that? Because I don't think they
I
showed
think
it.
there might be a little bit of a shot
Oh, okay.
of cheeses, like wedges in the background, maybe.
Okay. I'm holding you to that. I'm going to rewind this and make sure you're not lying again.
I mean, I might be imagining that. Maybe I imagined it because I wanted to see the food. I wanted there so desperately to be some food in this episode. Well, Adrian explains to Columbo decanting in this scene, which we already talked about, and he explains his alibi, and yeah, and so Columbo has a lot of little tidbits running around in his head. And now he goes and he visits Joan again because Columbo has some new information about Rick, that Rick apparently did not eat anything for 2 days before he died. And so he wants to check in with Joan to find out if that's unusual. And Joan is there. Is this the same actor, Paul, that you were just chatting about at the restaurant scene?
Yeah. Yes, Robert Walden. Yeah, he's still alive.
Okay. Yeah, so the two of them are at her place. She has on a cool pastel colored flowery shirt with a bunch of different colors on it.
He kind of looks like our dad a little bit, huh? In the
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see
You
that.
know when Dad had that mustache, kind of a big,
Yes.
the
I remember.
handlebar mustache Dad had.
We can put a photo of him on our Instagram in case anyone wants to see our dad's mustache.
That's right,
No,
Dad.
just kidding. We'll
Coming
spare you.
for
We'll
you.
spare you. Well, we learned that Rick was not likely to be fasting. That was not what he did. So Columbo has a little more information here, and he's going to go check in on the wine dudes and verify Adrian's story about Sunday. So he goes to visit the wine dudes, and this is where he learns that Adrian did not decant his own wine that
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, even though Adrian had just told Columbo that he always decants his own wine. So this is another important piece of information here. Okay, so saw the wine dudes. Now let's learn a little bit more about wine. Columbo heads to a wine shop, and there is a Frenchman played by George Gaines. Did you recognize him, Paul?
Yes. Yeah, he's is it Soap he's from? Or I remember him in Tootsie.
But he was in another Columbo.
Oh, he was? One we
Aha!
saw?
Yes, one we saw.
Which one?
Etude in Black.
And he was
He has a very small role as a newspaper editor
Oh, okay.
that
Oh, has lunch with them.
has they bump in Janice,
Or
and is it Janice? I think the wife's
yeah, no, I remember the scene.
name might be Janice. So Blythe Danner's character and her mom bump into him at a lunch place, maybe a country club or something. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, no, he wasn't in Soap. He's in the Police Academy stuff.
Oh yeah, totally.
And then WKRP. Yeah, a lot of side stuff.
Well, Columbo tells him he wants to learn everything there is to know about wine. And the guy's like, well, it took me my whole life. How much time do you have? Columbo's like, I have an hour or whatever, an hour and a half. So he apparently he learned something. He goes back to Carcini. Carcini pours a different wine for him. And Columbo plays a clever little trick on Carcini where he's like using all these key phrases to talk about wine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wish I'd written them down. But these are the
Yeah, it's
words
like
that are like
go ahead, sorry.
delicate bouquet.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all music to Adrian's ears. He like loves it.
Yeah, I love that. I
He's
love
so
his like
excited.
he like sticks his mouth out and his nose like he's very a lot of really great facial expressions all the way to the end of the show. Donald Pleasence.
Yeah, he's very expressive. Yeah, he does a good job. Anyhow, so Columbo has him thinking that he actually knows a bit about wine. He says, I know it's I can't remember if he says, I know it's a Burgundy. I just don't know which kind.
Because there's only a couple that they.
Yeah, but it turns out he knows that yeah, that there's only a couple that the winery makes. So he just process of elimination was able to figure it out. So that gives Adrian a good chuckle. He also, Columbo in all of his smoothness gets creates a natural segue to see Adrian's wine cellar. And so Adrian takes him down. He's a bit uncomfortable, but he takes him down. And I love the scene between the two of them in the wine cellar. I think is one of the best. It's like a classic Columbo scene between Columbo and the villain, where Columbo's just kind of getting to know this person and asking questions and seeing their reaction. I wouldn't call it slow, but by today's standards, it's a slow scene. There's no music. It's just the two of them in a dark room, like having this conversation. So it's all, all of the action is sort of small and subtle, but I don't know. I loved it. And it's funny because this has never been one of my favorite episodes. And I think I've never really appreciated it until I watched it this time with sort of fresh eyes and just a bit more carefully. I don't know. I'm rambling. What do you think, Paul?
No. Yeah, no, I agree. I thought that when first when when Peter Falk starts handling all the wine and he's like, oh, Donald Pleasence is getting freaked out, like, oh my, he's going to break something. It's real subtle. It's very quiet. Like you really have to watch Donald Pleasence's moves. They're not exaggerated, and it starts from when they walk into that, and then it becomes like classic Columbo with I thought you guys, yeah, you must have had a cheap bottle of wine when you guys did the decanting, and then Donald Pleasence does this look. He basically calls him out, and Pleasence, he's looking down and he looks up at Peter Falk. You got to watch it again. I watched it today a couple times. It's so good. It's such good acting because he can't say anything, but he is livid at what Peter Falk is saying to him. Like I caught you in a lie, kind of. And it's almost come. Yeah, he like his eyes or his eyelids are down, his head's down. Donald Pleasance. I forget what he says. Yeah, because is that what he says? Now it's like spinning, but it's, let's see, the fact that you didn't decant the wine. You never allow anyone else to decant the precious wine. And he says, "Didn't I? I did. I don't recollect."
Oh yeah, and Columbo's like, "Let me get my notebook." He's like,
"Oh," and they talk over each other because they're both trying to get the answer. Like, "Oh no, I do remember. I do remember saying that." Because he's like, "I wrote it down." It's like
yes.
the overlapping is very rare in a lot of TV and film, and right there it was so great. He's like, "I do remember. I thought it'd be a nice gesture to let him do it." And then after this, I thought it would show my appreciation. Mr. Falcon's more than capable. And then he says he has a very steady hand. Peter Falk says he has a very steady hand, and that's when he reacts with killer eyes. And it's just silence. And they're looking at each other. Sorry, folks, but yeah, that's the moment. That's a great moment.
No, it's good. It's one of the best moments between the two of them. That's what we all love about Columbo, right? Is the moments between Columbo and the villain, And when you don't have enough of those moments, then the show is often not as interesting, because these are the moments that make it really fun to watch Columbo at his finest.
Yeah, when he first meets Donald Pleasence and goes into his office, the acting there is great. Pleasence is really on point. Like when I watched it again today, I just loved his energy and his reactions. And
all right, well, let's move on, Paul, unless there's anything else from this scene. So Columbo learns that you can't accidentally lock yourself in the cellar, and he says goodbye to Adrian. He checks in with the security guard on his way out of the winery, and because he's trying to figure out if anybody saw Rick leave the winery. Now he shows up at night at Karen's apartment.
Bad move, Columbo. Oh, this is off duty. He says something like that, right?
Yeah, I can't remember what he says, but she's like already in her pajamas. She has this like long
that's what I was thinking
nightgown
earlier.
On. It's like
the nightgown scene.
Yes, this nightgown was jumping out.
She's reading. I wanted to know what she's reading, but I don't think you can tell.
Oh, she's reading? I thought she was already watching TV.
No, there is the Alan Ladd movie coming up at 11.
Yes. Yeah. Well, anyhow, Columbo is there, and he learns that she tells him that she saw Rick leave the winery on Sunday. And so he's like, okay, well, that settles it. That closes this case. And then he calls Adrian from her phone and says, I want to apologize. Guy, I can't believe I'm sorry I suspected you. Let me take you out to dinner at the finest restaurant. And, and then he leaves. And then he comes around and he knocks on her window. I would be so annoyed. If that were me and someone knocked on my window, I'd be like, are you kidding me? But she opens it and she answers him. He wants to know how long she's worked for Carsini. She's worked for Carsini 12 years. So that tells him like she probably has some loyalty.
Well, he always recognized that. and he's always trying to work. This was like his last ditch effort to come there. You know, trying to get her to, because she would know, and she does, and he knows that if he had her on his side, he could get some more stuff figured out. But she never bites. She never gives him anything.
She's very loyal and protective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure he senses that, when he first meets her, the way she doesn't let him just go into the office and all that stuff. All right. Well, Paul, let's go out to dinner.
Okay.
It's time. I'm hungry. So I got to say, I think Karen looks really awesome in her dinner garb. She has, it's fairly subdued, but this skirt, she's wearing like a long black skirt that has these cool big red and blue shapes on it, and then a black turtleneck and shawl. She looks very nice. And
Her hair pulled back. She's, yeah.
yeah, I think she might be wearing little boots too. I can't remember her shoes. But anyhow, Adrian is driving her to dinner, and they have a heart-to-heart in the car about her suspicions.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't really admit in this moment that she suspects him. And they get to the restaurant. So the exterior of this, according to the Columbo file map, is also filmed at the same restaurant, Boccaccio's in Westlake,
Oh,
near
okay.
Thousand Oaks.
Oh, so that's a real restaurant? Oh, the exterior.
Yeah.
The exterior.
The exterior, but yeah, the exterior and the patio, and it is a real restaurant, still open today. The exterior today looks different, but it could actually be the same. Like, it's definitely been painted, and they might have changed out some of the windows and doors, but it's definitely possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the general size and structure of the building is the same. So Columbo gets to the restaurant first, gets a table by the kitchen, and I have to say I love the Vito Scotti, the actor who played the maitre d'.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's a recurring actor, and I can't remember if I should have looked to see if this was his first Columbo episode, or do you recognize him, Paul?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
From other ones?
Not offhand. He's just, I mean, I recognize him just from being in television.
Well, I want to see if this is his first Columbo. According to IMDb, this is his first appearance in a Columbo, but he's in several more. He's so good. I was watching this and I was like laughing to myself, and the kids were like, "What are you laughing at, Mom?" What? And I was like, "Okay, let me show you. This guy is so good." When Adrian and Karen show up to meet Columbo, they're very unhappy with the table by the kitchen, obviously, and so they're like, "Put us somewhere better." And so the maitre d'
It's
is,
really Adrian.
yeah, it's just Adrian. So the maitre d' is like clapping, and he does this like weird kissy sound. He's like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so funny. The whole thing is so good. Anyhow, so they get a better table. They're enjoying their meal, the three of them. This is one of the rare times where Columbo mentions having kids.
Mm-hmm. A kid.
Normally he doesn't talk about having a kid. He talks about nieces and nephews.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
That was the this has so much, this episode.
I know this scene, right? I really wish I could tell what they're eating in this scene.
It looks like it's just supposed to be before dessert, right? Looks like a little omelet type thing, like an egg type thing.
Yeah, I thought it was look like ravioli or like omelet. I think it's supposed to be a dessert course, because the next wine is the dessert wine.
Mm-hmm.
Or
True.
no, sorry,
Yeah.
the next wine is an after dinner wine.
Yeah. The port.
Anyway,
It is the dessert. I think you're right. Yeah, because that's why you order it.
but it looks like ravioli or something. I don't know what it is. Listener, if you know what they're eating, let me know. Email us, trenchcoatcigar@gmail.com. So Columbo orders a very rare wine, like a 1945 Ferrier or something. And the wine steward says, I'll check. Adrian is like, oh, there's no way they have it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they have it, Adrian is so excited.
Mm-hmm.
I love this scene. He like swishes water around in his mouth.
Mm-hmm. I like that the thing the guy's wearing, the sommelier or the
Oh yeah,
the wine guy
he's got like a
weird.
big thick chain
little
key.
bottles on the end or
Yeah.
cups, silver cups or something.
Yeah. It's so good. Well, this is the scene where Adrian says like this, this meal has been ruined by liquid filth.
Mm-hmm.
Classic line. It's in the like the trailer or whatever.
Teaser.
There we go.
The cold open.
Yeah. And no one else can tell that the wine has spoiled except Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
And Adrian's like, don't pay for the meal. And Columbo's like, oh, okay, great.
Good way to get out of. I
Way
needed
to
to
get out
remember
of
that.
it, yeah. But he does give a nice tip to the maitre d'. And then I love that there's a little moment there at the end where the maitre d' and the wine steward taste it, and they can't figure out what's wrong with it either.
Mm-hmm. They go. Don't they both do that at the end?
Yes. It's great. It's classic.
And it's like, I wonder, it's like, was that Leo Penn, the director, or was it in the script? It seems like a directorial type thing because those two in the restaurant are great, very, very funny, warm, amusing actors. Just their reactions to like Columbo enjoying the port. Have you ever had port?
Yes. I was thinking about that for our wine too. But I guess I was nervous about like, I don't know, how do you find a port? That seems like more of a specialty wine.
So when I lived with our sister in law and our brother Sean, she made like heated up some port one night, and I didn't like it. It was very sweet. It reminded me of like there's a really cool Russian store or yeah, they had Russian bread, a bakery near this
Oh yeah.
place where I used to
Mm-hmm.
work, and I bought some wine, and the wine reminded me of that. It was like very sweet, and maybe it was a port wine because I just randomly picked the wine. I didn't know what it was exactly. I don't think they had it on the label. I didn't decipher what the red wine was, but I remember Stephanie liking it. I remember that's why she had it and that's why she brought it out. But I think I tried it twice, and it was
Too sweet
not
for
liquid
you.
filth, but it was. I think because I like the sort of the more less sweet,
Yeah.
taste.
Dry. You like dry wines.
Yeah.
Liquid filth.
And it's funny how they argue with each other because if they knew this was a whole setup, the reactions and stuff, you know what I mean? I guess he didn't realize Adrian Carsini was the one that would be at the table with him. And if they knew about the port, you know what I mean? Like, why would they get up? Why would the maitre d' get upset with the sommelier
Yeah.
at the end if they knew the whole gig,
I think Columbo might have slipped that bottle into their cellar or just paid the wine steward, but not the maitre d'.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, there's a number of things because you could also say like, "What did you get the right
Yeah.
one?" Like he's mad at him is like, "Did you get the one that you were supposed to?" This is what happened.
Yeah.
It could be anything. And this scene at the end when he walks out is great too.
Yeah. Yeah. So they walk out. They're standing at the curb waiting for their cars, and Columbo talks about that really hot day,
Mm-hmm.
and that I don't know. I don't think Adrian really shows any. I think Adrian doesn't really react in this moment.
He does.
Oh,
He
he does.
does. He's
Okay, I
so
didn't.
good. He starts to pull back. It's very subtle,
Okay, I
but
didn't notice it. I guess.
he is all over it. But he has to keep himself in check because he cannot show his like what the temperature. Like he can't show any of that. But you can see this shift. You can see and you can see the poise of trying to keep on pretending, laugh. It's really good.
Okay, I'll watch it
Yeah,
again.
watch it again. You'll see him. You'll see it. You'll see him
Yeah, I
stiffen
will.
up because that's what he was waiting for.
That
That
was
was
just
one
one
of
of his
his
moments.
his
Yeah.
piercing moments. Columbo, and then and they have a shot. You can see Columbo still staring at him, smoking in the background. Yeah, but it's a wide, so Columbo's real small on the screen, but he's still looking at him.
Oh, I gotta watch that scene again. I must have gone through it too fast. Well, so Adrian and Karen leave in Adrian's car, and we learn that Karen has really strong feelings for Adrian. She really loves him. She wants to be with him. And she says, he's like, why did you tell Columbo? I wish you hadn't said anything to Columbo about Rick's car. You had no reason to say anything. And so then they have like an honest moment here, the two of them, where she's like, well, I know that you were guilty. And Adrian's like, I wish you hadn't done anything for me. He had no proof. And Karen now is like, well, I'm going to be your business partner now, and I want to marry you. And
Mm-hmm,
Adrian's like,
mm-hmm.
whoa, okay. And I think he says something like, I have to go, or let's talk tomorrow, or
Yeah, let's talk in the morning about this.
yeah, he sort of pushes it off.
Yeah, well, she tries to kiss him. He moves back. It's all very civil. Although when he said, "I'm going to book you a flight to Paris," I was thinking he's making plans to kill her.
Oh, yeah.
But
Could
I don't
be.
know if he would do that. But yeah,
Could be.
he's not having it.
Mm-mm.
And she the first time I saw this, I felt she was a little crueler. But the second time I saw it, it's like, no, she's not. She just really wants him.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah, she's like lonely, and this is her whole life. And I mean, yeah, she just thinks he's a good person, even though he killed
mhm.
his brother. She thinks he's a good enough person,
Yeah.
even though,
There's always those stories, like real life stories of, you know, men supporting women who kill and men who support women that kill, like there are these couple I've worked on some of these and read about, these sort of true crime, scary stories. And there'll always be these like partners where someone's willing to just do the worst things for someone else. And it's like, why would you think they wouldn't do that to you? Or what, but it's interesting. Yeah. I guess people, they feel like, we could create this alliance somehow. I protected you.
yeah, no, there's other Columbo episodes that we'll get to where it's like, if someone is willing to murder, why wouldn't they be willing to murder you? Like, why would you be like, hey, I know you did this? I mean, that's just, I don't know.
They're just hoping like Julie, or the character she plays, just hoping that
Hmm.
he embraces him,
Right.
and he's like, talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't, and he tells her, I don't like this position you're putting me.
Right. Yeah.
He's very civil and
Hmm.
honest with her.
Yeah. He's very straightforward. Well, all right, Paul, it's time to wrap this up.
Let's do it.
Um, we've got some cleanup to do.
All right.
Adrian is throwing full bottles of wine into the ocean. There's so many things wrong with this scene. Like,
You mean the reality of it?
yeah, the reality of it. I don't know how they actually filmed it, but it looks like he's actually throwing wine into the ocean.
He's throwing it to
I
the
don't know.
right.
I could be wrong.
I was wondering if someone was catching it, but the last one he throws is pretty hard. So, they may have just, you know, broken a few,
Yeah,
because there's a lot of things we continue to do that's not best
right.
at all for anything.
Now we know you don't throw glass into the ocean, but I guess maybe in 1973 we didn't know that. So he's throwing away his whole wine collection. So I feel awful watching this, because not only is he like throwing tons of broken glass into the ocean, which is going to hurt people, But he's the only one who knows that this wine has gone bad. There's like nobody else who will be able to taste it. Anyhow, Columbo is waiting for him at the top of the cliff, and Columbo expresses they go back to that really hot day, and Columbo's like, so I can't remember exactly how Columbo says it, but Adrian is like, yeah, I'll confess. And Adrian has some fun lines here. He says that Karen was really turning the thumb screws on me.
Mm-hmm. She's Iron Maiden.
Yeah, and she's become quite the little iron lady or Iron Maiden. Do you know what what a thumb screw is?
I remember David Yao from the band the Jesus Lizard. They had a song called "Thumb Screws," and he describes getting thumb screws.
Oh my
But no,
gosh.
he's an actor now. Actually, he does some acting. But what? Tell me.
So it's like a 17th century torture device. It's like a vice for your fingers and toes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So you would like put your fingers and toes inside, and then it would squish. Sometimes the vice would have like spikes that would get driven in. Ooh. And then quite the little Iron Lady or Iron Maiden. I forget what he said.
She's Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden. So that I looked at. It might not have actually existed. This might be more of like a mythical torture device.
With the
But
spikes.
an iron, yeah. So the Iron Maiden was like a coffin-shaped box that was like lined with iron spikes. So the idea was like you'd put someone in the box, close the box, and the spikes would kill them. But historians do not agree on whether or not this ever existed.
Huh. Yeah, because I felt like I've seen that at the House of Wax or one of those wax places, like the one in London.
So there's definitely been some that have been created, but whether or not they're authentic or historically accurate is up in the air.
But thumb screws was a real thing.
Thumb screws, it appears, was existed. It did exist. Yeah,
Both pretty bad.
pretty awful. Yeah. Well, Adrian says he's going to confess because freedom is relative, right? So it's either tell Columbo or become Karen's slave. And Columbo drives him. And this is a really sweet moment between the two of them. I don't know if sweet moment is the right word.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. But Columbo has brought a wine, a Montefiascone dessert, which is a dessert wine. And Adrian says, "You learn very well, Lieutenant," because of the wine and whatever. And Columbo says, "That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever said to me." And then Columbo starts driving away with a glass of wine in one hand.
Wait, he says, "What was the nicest thing that you learned really well, right?"
You learn very well.
Very well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the interview on Johnny Carson, and also I don't think you said this part of that interview, but in that interview, Peter Fox said that this it's his personal favorite episode. This is from IMDb. This was the first episode where Columbo, the character, developed a sincere fondness for the murderer.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that the two men shared something in common, an admiration for excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a lot of other people's favorite episodes. It's just...
Yeah, the author, David Koenig, that's one of his favorites.
Totally.
Yeah, it's a really good episode. It's there's so many different things. So we do the rating now?
Well, before we do the rating, we should go back to our smoke signals observation.
Oh yeah, there we go. Which ending?
So David was saying that oftentimes it ends because of incriminating evidence, or it ends, Columbo just explains the evidence. So how would you describe this one, Paul?
I would say explains, but he does say, "Are you going to give me a confession?" Because if he didn't, then he's going to have to start pointing out all the, you know, he would it would be I think it wouldn't be that easy for him. So I think this would be a what did David say, a outlier, popular word. Uh, what do you think?
Yeah, it might be an outlier because throwing all the wine away isn't necessarily incriminating evidence. It's definitely suspicious. Yeah, and it's not really a moment where Columbo's just explaining everything to him.
Yeah. So then what happens to,
The winery?
I'm sorry, Karen Fielding? Yeah, Julie
Yeah.
Harris's
I mean,
character.
she should probably. I mean, I don't think anything happens to her, but she could be implicated as an accessory.
But then I guess it would be, yeah, because if he confesses, then she lied to the police. Because she couldn't have seen him leave.
Right.
So then what do you get for that? I wonder.
Well, then she's an accessory
Yeah,
to murder, depending on the district attorney if they really want to chase that case or not, you know?
yeah. Thanks for remembering. I still had my card, but I I
I
didn't
gotcha,
look.
Paul.
It was like it's sitting there, but I have some other cards over here on my other setup.
All right, well, let's rate this one. Let's wrap this up here.
Yeah, do it.
I gotta say this is at least an 8, maybe an 8.5, maybe
Hmm.
even a 9. You know, for me, I like a little more like glamour and food and festiveness.
Yeah,
But the scenes with Donald Pleasance are just so awesome, and the scenes between the two of them are so good. Um, yeah, maybe it's a 9. I feel like I appreciate it a lot more now watching it this time around. What about for
hmm.
you, Paul?
Yeah. This one is seemed long, but I know it's not that much different in time, right? It's an hour. It says an hour and 36 minutes. Originally, I was going to give it like 95 or something like that, but I'm thinking like more like 8.4, and I don't know if it's the length of it or the. It just seems like there's so much going. There's a long journey that you take. Can I say it's between 9 and 8.4,
Yes,
and that it'll fluctuate with time?
yes, you can absolutely say
Yeah,
that.
it's great. I really liked Julie Harris, his secretary,
Oh yeah, we didn't really talk about her.
playing Karen Filling, because she was so, from his first entering, she was an integral part. So they gave her lots of lines because you've had other sort of performers doing these kinds of roles, but the character doesn't really turn up much. They're just there, like in Blueprint for Murder. She's there, she's got some scenes, but here she was always like didn't say a lot, but there was a lot going on within her that was always very believable. So I really liked that, but it was such a good cast overall. And the director, Leo Penn, that was Sean Penn's dad. Yeah, he directed a lot of TV. He did a movie called A Man Called Adam. That's really good. It's a lot of jazz people. Sammy Davis Jr. plays a jazz person, but he took his. I guess Michael and Chris and Sean, the Penns, were all born to New York to make that film, and I think it was hard, so he decided to stay inland. But he lived near the Sheens, so they made films with the Sheens when they were
Oh,
kids.
okay, cool.
But yeah, Leo did movies. He's a good actor. He was in an Ida Lupino film called, I think it's called Wanted Man. Plays as piano player, really good piano player. And he was in. I saw him do acting. He was great. This film, I think, has this kind of juice of like with the drunk guy and the people at the restaurant. It's all very well played,
Mm-hmm.
um, and performed.
Totally.
And the writer, so Stanley Ralph Ross did a lot of television. You got to give it up to him. And then the original story was Larry Cohen. I've seen his films before. This he did a movie called God Told Me to. That's very interesting, very holds up really well. Um, and supposedly he didn't get paid for Murder by the Book, or he didn't get credit for that.
Oh,
And that was his story. That was
oh,
originally his
bummer.
story. But he was friendly with William Lincoln, Richard Levinson, and they couldn't get a lot of writers in the beginning,
Mhm.
But they had committed. They said, "Hey, come on, just give us some stories." And so he would do that. He would, give him like, maybe a couple pages or something like that. So I think at least 3 or 4 Columbo episodes are Larry Cohen, like the original.
Like the nugget,
Uh,
the core seed of the story.
yeah, so this is like a perfect storm to me. And I watched real quick Donald Pleasence because I wanted to see his range. So just 2 films. I mean, I saw a lot of stuff, but 2 films that really stood out was The Caretaker. Harold Pinter, British playwright. Robert Shaw's in it. He and Robert Shaw were friends. I think David Koenig, he mentions that. I think he owed Shaw money at some point for like, borrowing money. They were good friends. But that movie, The Caretaker, uh, I watched like the first 40 minutes. You can watch it you can go onto the Internet Archive. A lot of good stuff on there. Like you can watch a TV show with Leo Penn and Sean Penn's mom. They did. It was kind of like the Twilight Zone. I forget the name of it. But I found this British Donald Pleasence BBC show. It's like a one-off where he plays what was it? He plays like it was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a very short thing with two men, and he plays like a television producer. And this guy comes in and he interviews him. And I won't see anything else. We'll figure out the name at some point. But 2 movies, The Caretaker with Robert Shaw, Donald Pleasance is amazing. He plays this homeless guy. The guy who won the Cannes Film Festival for Naked, I forget his name, reminded me of Pleasance in this much older movie. He plays like this homeless crazy guy, but he's so funny and so believable, and he just sort of following Robert Shaw along the street,
That sounds
telling him,
cool.
all this stuff. And then another movie he did in Australia with Ted Kotcheff, or I can't remember his name, is a Canadian director, and he's known for this film. And I had only recently heard of it, and it's about this school teacher in Australia who he wants to see his girlfriend. He's working in this small town, and he wants to go to visit his girlfriend. Oh yeah, Wake and Fright. And Pleasance doesn't come into the film until about maybe 20 minutes in, and he is so good. I'm just that's all I'm gonna say. It's a very
Okay.
disturbing film,
We'll add that to our
and
list here of.
yeah, it's extremely has some extremely violent scenes in it,
Oh boy.
so it can be very upsetting to people. So be forewarned on different things.
Rated R. Rated R
Animal
there.
rights, animal rights kind of stuff too.
Oh, okay. Ew.
Yeah, it's extreme, but it is one of a kind. And that movie, like Pleasance in that movie was like, whoa, those 2 films. Yeah. So yeah, it's such a good actors in this episode.
We'll put the names that we talk about in our show notes. So if you want to check them out, just click on the episode description. Cool.
All right, so you ready for true false?
Yeah, I'm ready. Bring it on, Paul.
Okay. Okay, so I mentioned The Caretaker, that really good movie. Well, he did it. He did the performance, the play of it. But Donald Pleasance wrote a thank you note to Martin Sheen's wife because she had seen him perform live, and she was so blown away. So she wrote him a letter, and he wrote her a letter back saying, thank you for enjoying my performance.
Oh my gosh. Paul, how am I supposed to guess this?
You can ask me questions.
You're smiling. I'm going to say it's false because you're smiling here.
It's true.
Oh my gosh. Paul, you have like the opposite of a poker face.
Yeah, 1961. Emilio Estev's mom wrote a family letter to Donald Pleasence after she and Martin Sheen saw him in Harold Pinter's The Caretaker. So that was that film I was talking about. And he actually
Wow.
wrote her back. So what Emilio said, I think he was just probably ninth grade or something around there. He was going through his parents' books and he found their theater books, and that letter popped out from Donald Pleasence.
Oh, that's
Okay,
so cool.
yeah, yeah. You can watch that on Internet Archive, The Caretaker.
Okay.
So, do you remember the song Larry Cohen? Where are you going? Have you ever heard of that? It was a hit. So the guy who wrote the story, Larry
Mm-hmm.
Cohen,
Mm-hmm.
he was. It was a song. It was called
Why are you
Larry.
laughing so?
It's just kind of funny to think that they would have a song
Mhm.
called Larry Cohen, Where Are You Going? In the 70s. It was kind of a hit, and it was about him because he had done TV and all these sort of cult movies. But it was a hit in Australia.
Oh, in Australia.
You never heard that?
Okay, I'm gonna say
True or
that's true.
false?
I'm gonna say true.
I mean, remember it was like Larry Cohen, where are you going?
I don't remember it, but I'm gonna say it's true
Larry
because whenever I think
Cohen,
you're lying, I'm
where are
wrong.
you going? It's false. I just made it up.
No, are you serious?
Yeah.
Paul. Oh my gosh. I am the worst. No,
I guess it's
it's not
easy
that
to trick you.
I am the worst. It's that you are really good at tricking me. All right, what do you got? One more.
Okay, one more.
One more humiliation. Let's do it.
So Leo Penn, the director, he used to fly. He flew during World War II. Just like our grandfather flew in World War II. During the war, and Donald Pleasance flew. he was a he flew too. They all three, our grandfather, Leo Penn, and Donald Pleasance,
False. I'm
all
saying
were
false.
all. No, it's true. Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
serious?
Donald Pleasance actually got shot down and was in a prison camp. Yeah, World War
What?
II, and it's funny because he did that in The Great Escape. He played like a prisoner in there. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And Leo Penn, he may have, just like our grandfather may have suffered from stuff that we just don't understand in terms of, you know, dropping bombs and if you're a gunner. I think Leo Penn was a gunner at some point.
Whoa. It's
And
intense.
so in order, Sean Penn, this is a really, if you want to kind of an interesting thing, there's a lot about his dad and his mom, who was a really good actress. I said, but you had to see the face of the other person in order to get a good aim at them when you're in these planes. And
That's
yeah,
awful.
and
Ugh.
so
Wait, is that you? So, Paul, you just showed me a book. Is that written? It's a biography written by Sean Penn?
no, it's an authorized biography by Richard T. Kelly, and
Okay.
it's all interviews with people. The interview with Leo Penn is from, I think, Women in Film. It was out here. I think they interviewed him at one point before he passed. But Sean's mom, the actress Eileen Ryan, if I'm pronouncing that right, Eileen Ryan Penn. Their name was Pinion, but when they came to Ellis Island, like Leo's dad, was it Leo's dad or Leo's grandfather? It must have been his grandfather. Can't remember. But when they first came to Ellis Island, it was Pinion, like with a tilde, I think,
Okay.
like a Spanish for nut. But the person checking them in couldn't, just said, "Okay, Penn sounds good," and then so he went with that.
It's so sad. All the names that got butchered at Ellis Island.
Yeah,
Oh my
but
god.
that's a really, if you want to know about performing and his family and Chris Penn and Michael Penn, there's a little bit in there. I don't think they talked to him. I could be wrong, but I was hoping to hear.
Is that one of the siblings? I don't know who Michael
He's a
Penn is.
singer. Yeah, you'd recognize the music.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
type in his name and then go to YouTube and you'll probably right. He had some top 40 songs.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he for sure won because I heard it forever. Wherever I worked somewhere when they had, when you have to listen to the radio at your job, like a fast clothing store or whatever.
Wow, Paul. 0 for 3. 0 for 3 on that one.
Yeah, interesting though. But yeah, our grandfather, he did win. I mean, a lot of people who flew and did these dangerous runs. He did get one of those awards for bravery.
Oh, cool.
And Leo, I don't know if Leo did, but one of the guy who was like their lieutenant, like our grandfather was a first lieutenant. He was a captain. He was a first lieutenant. Got the same award in World War II.
Oh, cool.
They even have photographs of the bombing. So
Whoa.
before the airfield's bomb, and then after the airfield, with the bombs going off.
That's intense.
And I feel like I had a dream about that once.
Oh yeah.
No. So our grandfather Materio Montes, he's a tough dude, but I'm not surprised. When because I interviewed him about that, and he would say, "These are the wrong questions. You're asking me the wrong questions."
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's because he was getting older and wasn't always remembering, but I think it was, I thought I did research, but it wasn't enough for him. I mean, he answered some of my questions, but rest in peace, Grandpa. So, but yeah, any old port in a storm.
Wow.
True or false? There's an episode called "Any Portrait in a Storm" that Leo Penn directed for the series St. Elsewhere.
I thought there was only 3 trivia questions.
This is
Paul.
the bonus round.
A bonus round of humiliation. Any Portrait in a Storm? Is that what you said?
Yeah, directed by Leo Penn. The series was St. Elsewhere because he did like a great Star Trek, The Enemy Within, with William Shatner has a double. He did a lot of cool, really good stuff. There's a really good interview with Leo Penn in Starlog, that magazine our brother used to get. You can find it online. I think it's on the Internet Archive. I downloaded it and read it. It was really cool. He used to wear Hawaiian shirts, and I think they buried him in his Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he sounded like when he passed, his wife said they got letters from all these people who had worked and had come up in the field, the entertainment industry, just how much he meant to them.
Aw.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to say that's false.
It's true.
Gosh, dang it.
Any
Paul.
Portrait in a Storm. I wanted to watch it just to see what it was like. Kind of weird though, right?
That makes no sense at all. What kind of name is that? It's the worst name I've ever heard.
I don't know. We've been going long. We better say goodbye.
Okay, let's say goodbye.
Right.
Okay, let's wrap this up. All right. Thank you to Maxime Gervais for our theme song, Columbo. And this podcast is edited by John Warenas. Thank you very much, John.
Right on.
Please add to our conversation. Email us at trenchcoatcigar@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at trenchcoatcigar. And support us on Patreon. And if you can't support us on Patreon, give our podcast a rating and a review wherever you listen. That really helps our show and helps more listeners find us.
Oh, hey, Liz.
Yeah.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Julie Harris's favorite performer was working with Peter Falk. True or false?
Oh, man, Paul. True.
False.
What?
Ethel Waters.
Wait, did you say false or true?
False. It's Ethel Waters was. She said, it sounded like no one came close to. She was a singer and very interesting. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Liz.
Okay, Paul, I have one for you.
What?
Thanks for listening.
Columbo, French coat, cigar, là toujours. Columbo, gourmand pour Columbo, pas de gun, pas de look. Columbo, French coat, cigar, là toujours. Columbo, gourmand pour Columbo, pas de gun, pas de look. Passion meurtrière, folie passagère, rien à foutre devant l'expertise policière. T'avais un plan sans faille, pensez à chaque détail. L'inspecteur